this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist, and it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do, to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry, and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love, those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug, those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be, and if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted, to grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess, your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down, make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little, used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me, I wish that I could make it twice.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Monday, hectic as hell. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to my pops, man. I do this for you. Shout out to everybody who's here. It is Monday. I know some people had today off because of Veterans Day. Shout out to me for being a veteran. I like to pat myself on the back. Somebody said I got an ego, bruh. My ego is twice the size of this house. I believe in myself. If my self-confidence offends you, you got to step off. That's real. Thank you guys for being here. If you're watching us on TikTok, move over to YouTube if you want to interact and ask me questions. Just go search RicoKnows on YouTube, hit the live stream. If you're on the Discord server, I will respond to Discord comments first before the YouTube comments, but you can't see me on the screen. Click the link, come watch me. I'm over here talking in the corner. Anyways, we're going to talk about college football, everything trending in the world of sports. For whatever reason, all these coaches and all these schools are feeling like, I don't know, they think it's the end of the season. We still got 2 or 3 weeks left. They're firing coaches everywhere. Everybody's trying to get ahead of it. It's nuts, man. We got kids jumping in the portal. Kids jumping in the portal mid-season. Now we got coaches getting fired mid-season. Like they didn't show up for work. That's bananas to me, man. Let these guys finish their season, because all you're doing is setting an interim coach up to have to, I don't know, show favorites. You know how many kids are going to jump ship? Every kid, every student, every player, if your coach got fired, you get a free transfer. You get to jump in the portal. The window's open for you right now. Now, you only get one transfer. You can't do it multiple times, But the window is open for you right now to enter the portal. Shout out to every player on every team of a coach that's been fired. You get to leave now and open and start communicating with other teams. You don't have to wait till December. This is essential. If you're trying to leave your school and you want a shot, you got to get in that transfer portal before National Letter of Intent Day. Let me explain. Every school has 85 scholarships. Every school has 85 scholarships. They're giving 25 to the high school kids, typically. There's no limit. They can give as many as they want, but every school likes to give 25 out. And then with their 25, after those 25 are gone, then they try to put together their best 60 players. And if you're not in the top 60 on the team, they're sending your ass to the portal. You don't believe me? Ask Coach Prime. Ask Bama. Ask A&M. Georgia. If you're not part of our top 60 players, you're out of here. Don't give a shit what grade you're in, how long you've been here. If you're not one of the top 60 on the roster, you're gone. Because we're going to sign transfers who are better than your ass. So the way you defeat that is you get in the portal, you transfer, and you get a scholarship. They only got 60 to give out. They renew every year. They're only giving 60 out because they're giving 25 to high school kids. So you're fighting for 60 slots. You want to get them in before the early letter of intent day. Early letter of intent day, December 20th-ish. Somewhere early December, mid-December. Early letter of intent day. You need to be transferred before then. Because if you're trying to do it after, your scholarship might be gone. Or you got to be better than 60 people on the team. I'm just saying. That being said, they're firing coaches and don't give a shit. So, Jimbo gets fired. Jimbo Fisher gets fired. Some insane amount of money, $70 million. You guys didn't know. That's more money than Michael Jackson made in album sales. It really is. Michael Jackson made a majority of his money from touring, but album sales, that's more money than Mariah Carey made from Sony. Like, this is insane amount of money to do nothing. Nothing. I think Janet Jackson made $80 million, bro, from their albums. I'm just talking about recording contracts, not merchandise sales and royalties and all this other shit. I'm just saying straight up, put your name on the dotted line. Jimbo Fisher is getting paid real money. Real money, bro. That's crazy. To do nothing. To just suck. This is a prime rule. You know, in the NFL, they stopped paying draft picks $60 million contracts. They capped it, right? The NFL Players Association came in and said, we can't do this. We got to stop paying these rookies all this money. They ain't doing shit for it. Shout out to Jamarcus Russell. Shout out to Mark Bradford. And whoever else signed a huge deal and didn't really do shit for it. Can't do that anymore. Because once they got the money, they didn't come to work. They weren't hungry anymore. They didn't strive anymore. You got $35 million. What are you doing, bro? Chilling. Well, Jimbo Fisher is much the same. He got all his money up front or guaranteed, and he ain't working that hard. Not if you ask me. Not if you ask me. That man spends more time arguing on Twitter than he does on the sidelines making adjustments. Couldn't call play, bro. This obsolete offense he does. Trash. Got to go hire somebody else to fill in and do your job. You're out of here. And if you don't know how bad they want to fire these coaches, they don't even care how they perform. They do not care how they perform. Let me explain something to you. That man won by 50 points, and he got fired. 50 against the conference opponent. Now, I get it. Zach Arnett got beat by 50. Fire that dude. But you won by 50? Dude, that means you were done the week before, right? Okay, we all know this. They already said it. Cool. But Andy Avalos did the same thing. Andy Avalos, Boise State, he just won 42-14. And they fired him. Ever since McAllister jumped in the transfer portal, his star wide receiver, Eric McAllister, jumps in the portal, 6'4", 200 pounds, says, I'm out of here. Mid-season. They're going to fire the coach because he lost a player? Or he lost the locker room? Or he lost too many games? You lose 4 in a row, you get fired, bro? That's a terrible job. I'm telling you, man, being a head coach in college football, there's only two outcomes. There's only two outcomes. You either get fired or you get hired. I don't give a shit who the coach is, where you're coaching. You either get fired or get hired. That's the outcome. Like when you get that job, that's cool. Your days are numbered. From the moment you sign on the dotted line, your days are numbered. Go on a cold run. You're getting fired. Do something great, you get hired. But you don't get to stay there forever. Shout out to Joe Pa, getting fired. Kirk Ferentz, about to get fired. Now, they might let you do respectful things like retire. Oh, we'll let him retire at the end of the season. You guys ain't hear this shit? Brady Hoke, breaking news. Brady Hoke has said he's going to retire at the end of the season. Cool story, bro. Guess what? If you didn't retire, you were getting fired. Because this is the worst team in America. Their offense is gross. These dudes don't got a quarterback. They didn't hit the portal and find a quarterback. They didn't even hit the transfer portal for a quarterback. You know how many quarterbacks there were out there? They didn't even sign one. The kid from Syracuse, Lamson, says, I'm trying to come back home to the West Coast. They weren't interested. He started a couple games for Stanford this year. They didn't want him. No, they had a safety, Maben, a damn safety on the team, a defensive back. I'm not talking about somebody who's there for your safety and concern. I'm talking about a safety, a defensive back. They moved him to quarterback. I don't know why we can't complete any passes. Man, our offense is scoring nothing. These are the same dudes that lost 6-0 to Nevada. I would have fired this dude at 6-0. We lose 6-0 to Nevada, you can't get on the bus, bro. Changing the locks. You lose 6-0 to Nevada, get the F off my... No, you're out of here. I'm firing this dude. So now they're letting him retire. This is a guy who coached, I want to tell you guys, he coached for like 200 games at Ball State. This is where he made his name. Ball State, in the MAC, over 200 games, and he was like 500. And they let him do this thing where he coached really well at San Diego State. Then he went to Michigan. Was so bad, they went to the NFL to get somebody, right? They went and picked up Harbaugh. He was so bad at Michigan. And then he ended back up at San Diego State, and he's been doing, I mean, don't get me wrong, 2021, they had a good season. 2021, they had a good season. But they're letting him retire. Cool, man. Who wants that job? Everybody. That San Diego State job, go get Gary Patterson. Go get Gary Patterson. He's a hell of a coach. San Diego State needs a good coach. So they say, who's taking place of Jimbo Fisher? Anybody, bro. Anybody can take that job. You know why? Because they can afford anyone. Nobody's safe. You think your coach isn't interested in that job? Bro, they're paying something crazy. Some of these coaches are making $4-6 million a year. You're guaranteeing me how much? How much? Let me put this in perspective for you. You make $70,000 a year. I'm just putting a number out there. $70,000 a year. But you hear about a job down the street, and they're paying $200,000. No. Let's rephrase that. They're paying $500,000 down the street. And it's guaranteed. And all you guys think they're only interested in coaches that don't have jobs right now? Nah. These guys are interested in taking whoever the hell they want. This university has real money. A&M, they could have bought this. They could have did this buyout last year, y'all. They could have did this buyout last year. They got so much money at Texas A&M, it's ridiculous. There ain't nobody richer than A&M and Texas and the Longhorns. Not a school, maybe Harvard, right? Maybe those billion-dollar endowments, I'm sure. The Ivy League schools. But anybody in the FBS, nobody's close. FBS, these guys could buy anyone and pay whatever they want. And they still ain't shit. And they still don't got it. But your coach, nobody's safe. If they want to coach, They're going to offer him something insane. You can't match it. Everybody goes, well, they can't get Dan Lanning from Oregon. Phil Knight will. No, he won't. No, he won't. He won't outbid him. It's not a smart investment to outbid him. Let them overpay for the job. Let them do it and find somebody else. I'm just saying. I don't know who's going to Boise State, bro. I don't know who wants to coach up there in the blue turf. Zach Arnett, they're telling me top 5 candidates for Mississippi State. Look at this. Look at this. Do not go get Luke Getsky. Listen. Do not go to the NFL. NFL coaches don't translate well. Position coaches don't translate well. Ask Boston College. Position coaches from the NFL don't make it. I don't care. We're not trying to develop a quarterback. They're saying, oh, he knows how to develop a quarterback. No, he doesn't. Justin Fields looks developed to you? Shut up. I don't want to hear about Dan Burrock. That's a terrible hire. Jesse Minter's interesting but not proven. Willie Fritz. Kurt Signetti. Now these are names. You don't know. Willie Fritz has been at Tulane. He knows the area. He's been recruiting with his hands tied behind his back because Tulane's got high academic standards. And Willie Fritz is knocking it out the park, doing great. Culturally, Willie Fritz is him. He's been doing this a long time. I think he would be great for Mississippi State. The other hire they have here is Kurt Signetti. If you don't know, Kurt Signetti is the JMU head coach at James Madison. He's done more with less. He really has. And he used to be the head coach at IUP and Elon. And every time he left those schools, they were better than when he found them, right? He's always made a school better than when he found them. A lot of people didn't believe in JMU. They killed it in the transfer portal. They killed it in the transfer portal so much that I believed in JMU. And that's a good coach knowing how to do that, how to adjust. And I like Signetti, man. But if you look at my transfer portal rankings, there's JMU right there in 5th place. You think I'm surprised they're undefeated? Now, you lose your head coach, you ain't shit. Get out of here, Michigan State. But this right here, this is beast. 5th place. Statistically, the trends are if you're on this chart, you're incredibly improved, according to me. Oh, look at that, New Mexico State, incredibly improved, according to me. Louisville, all the top teams that are incredibly improved, according to me. According to Rico, Rice is so much better than they used to be. Colorado, better than they used to be. I'm just telling you guys, I have a method to my madness, and when you look at the math and you do the analysis, look at these names. Look at these teams that are so improved. It's just how I feel. And some not so much, but some I hit it right on the head. It's an amazing feeling. Shout out to JMU and their culture. I'd like to see Kurt Signetti get hired somewhere. Mississippi State's not too big of a daunting task. Now, let's talk about who just got fired. Who resigned with 3 years left on his contract? This is Ray Anderson. He's about 70 years old. You might not know him, but he's the athletic director at Arizona State, the Sun Devils. The athletic director at Arizona State, Ray Anderson, resigns. So why is this a big deal to me? Well, because this is the same jackass that hired Herm Edwards. He hired Herm Edwards. And if you guys don't know the story, this guy right here was a sports agent. He was a sports agent, straight up. And guess who one of his clients was? Herm Edwards. So he becomes an athletic director at Arizona State. He's got to hire a new head coach for football. And he looks around and goes, let me get my client. Let me hook this guy up with a job. You are his agent. And you hired a guy that put your football program in the dirt. Buried them in sanctions. They can't even play in a bowl game this year. They find out 2 weeks before the season starts. Why the hell did this guy have a job for any number of weeks? They just cut him in the middle of just resign in the middle of the year. This guy's got 3 years left on his contract. Get GTFO. Get the F out, bro. Don't want to see it. Don't care. Just wait. Wait till I make that video. I'm making that damn video. There's another video I need to make for you guys. Oh, by the way, Mississippi State, they should be trying to hire Jamie Chadwell from Liberty. You heard me. Jamie Chadwell's over there at Liberty for 1 year. and he's got that team undefeated. They should be trying to hire Jamie Chadwell. I think he's an amazing coach. He does everything right. Get Jamie Chadwell. Get Rhett Lashley from SMU. Go get some guys in the SEC. Oh, where's my I Am Right video? Because this shit's coming out tonight, y'all. I Am Right. Patriots release Jack Jones. Oh, Rico, you don't know what you're talking about. He's too good to cut. He's too good to cut. Nah, this is the same Joker. Jack Jones, you guys don't know him. Maybe you do. Maybe you think you do. Jack Jones, speaking of Arizona State, Jack Jones got arrested earlier in the year. They dropped the charges, but he took a gun to the airport. Of course, they dropped charges because these guys hire attorneys and argue semantics, take plea deals. Doesn't mean they're not guilty. Doesn't mean it didn't happen. But this is a kid. This is a criminal. Jack Jones is a criminal. Remember, he got kicked out of USC. Oh, let me tell you. High school, Long Beach Poly. Long Beach Poly, perennial power, goes to USC. He's at USC. He can play football. Has no grades. Cancer on the team. And they kick him off the damn team. Kick him out of here. So he gets kicked out of the school, goes back to the block, gets with his buddies, think they're gangsters, think they're thugs, think they're criminals, and at 3 a.m, they break into a Panda Express. Burglary. They break into a Panda Express at 3 a.m. to steal a couple $100 from a register. This is the guy. And they still, Herm Edwards gave him a chance to let him go to Arizona State. Herm Edwards, you piece of work. $4 million buyout, Herm Edwards. You enabled this criminal. You gave him an opportunity over other student athletes. Listen to what I'm saying, guys. I cannot stand college students who break the law and get a second chance. Everybody says, Rico, what are you doing? This is racism. You hate this. No. I got 0-star kids in my inbox right now. I got 0-star kids in my inbox right now. I got about 1,000 of them saying, hey, coach, watch my film, make a video on me, help me get a deal, help me get signed. I got 1,000 of them. And you know what they'll never do? They'll never break into a damn Panda Express and try to steal from somebody. That Panda Express is owned by an American citizen. Same with those vape shots Eric Gilbert's kicking in. I do not condone any crime against an American citizen. There are student athletes out there dying for an opportunity, or they'd give anything to be one of those 85 kids on scholarship. But you keep enabling these bums, these criminals, and then they go to the NFL and think they're invincible, start carrying guns everywhere they want to go, illegally. You can carry a gun in America. I got my carrier's license in my wallet right now. Don't test me. I'm not anti-gun. I'm anti-crime. Don't test me, bro. It's right here. I'm anti-criminals and crime, and I'm pro these players who want a dream. I'm pro people who do things the right way. Released. Here's my next question for y'all. What arrogant, jackass coach and GM are going to sign this guy because they think they can fix him? You want to talk about arrogance and ego? GMs and head coaches in the NFL think they can fix the problem. Fat chance, buddy. This guy is he's a ticking time bomb. He's a problem. About to be somebody's problem? Yeah, he's about to be mine? Yeah. Jim Harbaugh plans to go to court on Friday. So they're doing this thing. They're going to do a restraining order on the conference, right? So if you guys didn't hear, Jim Harbaugh obviously banned from the sidelines, can't be at the game. He can only coach during the week, and he's banned on game day. And this is implemented by the conference. So what the school did is they went to the courts and they said, hey, we'd like to have an emergency hearing, and we would like to do a restraining order on the conference so they can't impose this on us, and now I can go back and coach. Now, the judge is going to hear all arguments on Friday. And Jim Harbaugh says, I'm not just going as a viewing party. I want to talk. He says, I want to be Tom Cruise in A Few Good Men. and just start going in there and litigating and talking, saying my part. Now, this guy's never been to law school. But if you guys think I'm joking, he literally said it right here. I'm highlighting it. A few good men. I've always felt like it would be cool to go up there and just scream out, "You can't handle the truth." No, what he wants to see is what is the merit of the case? Like, why does the Big Ten feel they need to suspend him, or they have enough proof or a burden of proof beyond the investigation the NCAA is doing? Because this is a preemptive punishment by the conference independent of the NCAA. And according to the president of the Big Ten, or the commissioner, he said, well, I've talked to enough teams, gathered enough information from the NCAA and the opposing teams, and I've decided that this warrants suspension on Michigan, on Jim Harbaugh. All right, buddy, let's hear what you talked about. Let's hear what they had to say, because that's vague as shit. That doesn't work with me. That doesn't fly in America. I would like the burden of proof to be on the prosecutor, right? On the people who are accusing him. He's innocent until proven guilty. This is America. I want to know what's up. I can't wait to hear what Jim Harbaugh has to say. I hope he goes up there and goes, "Who the hell is Stallions, bro? I didn't even know that guy was on my staff. I think that dude works for Central Michigan, and he showed up on my sideline every Saturday, snuck on my sideline. I never knew that dude." I hope he says some crazy shit. It'd be great. I'll make a bunch of videos. In bad news and sad news, Jonathan Brooks, leading rusher for Texas, done for the season. Knee, ACL, issues here. That sucks, man. He's a good player, good young man. And more importantly, Texas needs offensive firepower, and they need them. And I got it. I get it. They got Baxter, and everybody talks about all the other players on Texas. But for me, when you lose a guy like this, it kind of sets you back on the scoreboard. I think he's worth at least 7 points every week. That changes their over at least. I almost said that they were going to go the over this week. The weather looks a little problematic. They're playing Iowa State. I'll talk about it on Wednesday. But I felt like this whole game's going to go over. It probably still will, but I took it off my chart. Just spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. Another running back done for the season, John Emery. Now, this guy, for me, John Emery, suffering a torn ACL, out for the season. Very underwhelming. Everybody always talks about how good John Emery is, and this is the problem with a lot of the SEC fans. They think their entire depth chart is NFL caliber, and it's not. It's just not. You don't have a bunch of NFL running backs in your running back room. You got a guy that backs up the backup from Notre Dame, right? Logan Diggs transferred in from Notre Dame, came back home. And if I can transfer in and take your job, you're not NFL. You're just not. That's real. So shout out to Logan Diggs, Josh Williams, and John Emery. But John Emery's out of the rotation. They don't care. They got Daniels at running back. They got Jaden Daniels at running back. Step to me. Jaden Daniels out here looking like a championship quarterback. Speaking of championship quarterbacks. Whoo! The garbage pail. I mean, the postman. That's what they call him, the delivery man, the postman. Your Bullsworth Trophy winner. The walk-on. The Bullsworth is the best walk-on or whatever. If you started your career as a walk-on, you're the best player of the year, whatever. Shout out to Bennett, bro. Stenson Bennett, the 18th. We have a sighting. We haven't seen him since he went into rehab. But he was in Georgia this weekend getting his award, getting looked at. Just to be clear, if he was healthy and not on the juice and not hooked or addicted to anything, he would already be playing by now. They got injuries. They had to play Brett Rippon. They cut that dude after one game. This man would be on the field. He ruined it for himself. It's a cautionary tale. This dude right here, something's wrong with him. And Sean McVay said it's very unlikely that it's more unlikely that he comes back to the team than it is likely that he comes back to the team. It's sad, bro. I'm not sad, though. Utah. Coach put on paid leave just because one of the star gymnasts said that she's been abused. And what do you say abused? Abusive tactics. What are we talking about? So I went and looked into it. I want to make sure, right? Kara Aker. She was one of the rotational people at the Olympics. Pretty prestigious thing to be on the rotation. But she wasn't used as one of the scorers. If you don't know, in gymnastics, they only take the top 5 scorers for the team event. And but she's a good person. And she was at Utah for all 4 years. And when she was done, she finally went public and said she was abused verbally and emotionally. Yeah, that's what she said. I feel bad for the victim. No. Shut the hell up, bro. If you were abused verbally and emotionally for 4 years, say something before you graduate, move on, realize you're not going to be a professional gymnast anymore, and probably need to write a book to talk about all the abuse you've been through. I hate people who exploit situations. You want to stop this? You want to get this guy fired? Now he's on paid administrative leave, so it doesn't happen to somebody else. That's the biggest issue, right? When you're abused, I would say, stereotypically, you want to stop the abuse from occurring to yourself, and most definitely, you don't want anyone else to go through with it or anyone else to endure it. So you wait 4 years to say something? Why not say it initially? Why not say it in the moment? Why not try to save your teammates? Save future recruits? But instead, you're selfish in this regard and you talk about it after the fact. I don't believe you. I don't give a shit if coach yelled at you. That's what coaches do. You're telling me one of the Olympic gymnasts wasn't a favorite on the team? You don't think she's a superstar on the team? She says, I have recently been diagnosed with severe anxiety and depression, anxiety-induced insomnia, and I suffer from panic attacks, PTSD, and night terrors. Did this guy touch you? Is he yelling at you? Do your flips better? You got to be shitting me, bro. I don't give a shit what you were diagnosed. I'm telling you guys. I've been in the military over 20 years. I got a different perspective. I see people function, and I've seen toxic environments, and the first thing we do is we try to point it out and ensure and eradicate it and make sure it doesn't happen to anybody else. You waited 4 years, a whole 4 years? You're fucking kidding me, bro. I had to endure 4 years. You don't know a transfer portal when you see one? You don't know the IG office? The Title IX office? Ridiculous. I'm serious, guys. I don't like victims who wait till after the fact to say shit. I don't like it. I never condone it. And then you want to go and vilify a dude after you're done using it for your whole scholarship, your whole deal. Get your free education, all your meals, all your money. And then when you're done and you realize, oh, that's all dried up, I need to go put these dudes on blast. Why? What did coach do? Guys, I read. He didn't touch her. How did he abuse her? He yelled at her? Called her names? I hope she don't get in a relationship. She might get called a name. I hope she don't get a job anywhere. You might get called a name. I'm telling you. It's life. Your coach was hardly. This is the same kids that are recording Lane Kiffin. These are the same kids who are recording Lane Kiffin saying they're having mental health breakdowns. Kiffin's sitting around going, yeah, bro, welcome to the real world. I can't stand this shit, man. Fix yourself. You're a victim. Put a stop to it immediately. Have some intestinal fortitude. Step up. Say, hey, this guy talked to me inappropriately yesterday. Don't tell me 4 years ago. Or it's been going on for 4 years. You make me sick. It's the same reason we see hazing shit go down and we go, how did that happen? How did they let this happen? Why were they okay with spanking of the genitalia, grabbing of the scrotum, this, that? You're like, whoa, hold up, bro. You do that to me one time, bro. One time. I'm in the parking lot. Waiting on you. I'm serious. These people, oh, well, I got diagnosed with a... Shut the hell up, man. Don't step to me. I want people to be preemptive. I want people to be proactive, not reactive. I want people to care about each other. You got a coach mistreating you? Say something because your teammates might be mistreated as well. You don't just wait till you finish your degree, wait till you finish your college time, and then say something. That's very selfish. Ridiculous. Let me get off that soapbox. All right, if you're on TikTok and you're watching, all you guys got to do is go over to YouTube, search Rico Knows, come to the live stream. I'll answer all your questions if you write it in the chat. I'm about to go over the games today. We're talking about the ACC, Conference USA, and all independent schools. I'm about to go over the slate, give my ideas, and then I take questions from everybody watching. So if you want to move over to YouTube, be a part of the show. Anybody writing in comments down here, I don't read your comments on TikTok. I only read it on YouTube or the Discord server. Come on over. I'll see you. All right. So Looking here, I'm looking at independent schools. Coastal Carolina at Army. I don't like the matchup for Army. Coastal Carolina actually looked impressive, beating Texas State this past week. I think they're better than Army. They'll win the game, theoretically. Now, it is on the road at Army. Army's always tough at home. It's a weird environment at West Point. It's cold as hell, that kind of deal. We'll see what happens. We'll see if these Coastal Carolina kids in their warm weather can figure it out. Sacred Heart at UConn. UConn's bound to win a game. They better win this one. They better win this one, or Jim Mora Jr.'s got a problem. I'm just saying. UMass at Liberty. It's an MVP level lock. I won't talk about the game. I apologize. Wake Forest and Notre Dame. Notre Dame better handle this game. I'm not impressed with Notre Dame at all this season. Yes, they have some key wins, but my goodness, they don't look good. And every time I look at Ohio State getting praised, I just wonder, like, why are they being praised? Is it because of how they looked when they beat who? Because they didn't look good beating Penn State, but they beat them. They sure as hell didn't look good beating Notre Dame. And Notre Dame is not great. They're just not. That 20 next to their name, they better look like it when they play Wake Forest. Wake Forest is not good. Wake Forest was supposed to be bad this year, and they're proving me right most weeks. Real talk. And Mitch Griffiths gets hurt, so you lose your starting quarterback, and you're running into this issue. All right, cool. Now looking at Conference USA, La Tech at Jacksonville State. That's an MVP level lock. Won't talk about it. UTEP at Middle Tennessee State. MVP level lock. Won't talk about it. Sam Houston at Western Kentucky. Let me double check the chart. I apologize. Let me pull it over here. Ooh, I almost flashed y'all with the goods, but I already know. I'm not crazy. Y'all don't get to see the goods. Shout out to all the MVPs on Patreon. Sam Houston State and Western Kentucky's not here. Here's what I'll tell you about the two. It's pretty misleading. You know, Sam Houston State, for whatever reason, we look like they don't have much offense, but when you break down this team and you look at it, they actually do score a fair amount of points recently. Since they got in conference play, right, you're looking at losing New Mexico State. There's no shame in losing to a better team, and that's what New Mexico State is. But losing in overtime, double overtime, they still scored 27 points. Now, FIU's bad. So Sam Houston State's bad. UTEP, 34 points. Holy smokes, 34 points. They way covered the spread in this game. Kennesaw State, you win barely, but you put up 24. And then this week, you put up 42 last week. 42 against La Tech on the road. That's a lot of points recently. So now we got to stop saying their offense isn't good. They have figured it out. They started using this new running back, Murgda. I made a video on Murgda a couple weeks ago. They're starting to use him. He's being productive. I like it. Shout out to Murda. And then on the flip side, Western Kentucky got to be one of the most disappointing teams in Conference USA. You know, Austin Reed comes back for his final year, didn't go to the NFL draft, came back to put up a bunch of stats, probably throw for 4,000 yards. Not happening, bro. Not happening. Very average-ass year. Malachi Corley is a stud wide receiver. He was my number one group of 5 wide receiver in America. And some games he looks like it, and some games he doesn't. It's not good. Not good football. Their defense is not very stout, is what I'll say. Marcus Stepp, the USC transfer, didn't handle his business on this team at all. And when you look at them for the last 5 weeks, I'm looking at them being very underwhelming, beating La Tech by 7, losing to Jacksonville State, losing to Liberty, beating UTEP by 8. Like, this is so unimpressive, these wins, and then losing to New Mexico State. And they were probably better than New Mexico State, and they still couldn't win. They are very unimpressive. So when I look at this and I see the spread for this game is 12.5 for Western Kentucky, and the over-under is 52.5, I'm starting to think that over-under could be beat. I'm starting to think they can get there because this defense is terrible. And if Sam Houston State starts scoring, they're both going to get over 25. But 12.5 seems like a whole lot for this terrible Western Kentucky team. Now, I can tell you, Sam Houston's supposed to have a good defense. They're good against the run, not the pass. But my God, I feel like the over's in play, and I think Sam Houston can cover that spread. Wouldn't bet on the game. I'm just telling you how I feel about it. New Mexico State versus Auburn, MVP lock, can't talk about it. And FIU at Arkansas, I took it off the MVP chart. FIU at Arkansas, here's what I'll tell you guys. FIU, slowest defensive backs in America. You can beat them with any wide receivers. And their quarterback play, Jenkins is in the game now. Jenkins is playing. He's a redshirt freshman. He's just not good. He doesn't throw the ball. He's going to get sacked all day. Arkansas, obviously, fired their offense coordinator, had a terrible time in SEC play this year, but are we really going to count them out? Are we? They're 3-7. I think when you look at them, you have to go back to the beginning of the season. They weren't good. Barely beating Kent State 28-6. MAC teams are beating Kent State worse. Okay? FCS opponent, who cares? Losing to BYU. BYU's turned out to be a really bad team. So if you couldn't beat BYU, of course you can't beat anybody in conference. Of course. And then you go and do this. Shock the world and beat Florida. That's why I tell you Florida's bad. But when I look at this FIU game, the thing that scares me and the reason I took it off the chart is I was going for the under. They put it at 51.5 with a 30-point spread. I don't like the 30-point spread for Arkansas. It feels like they should be able to do that. But the 51.5, how are we getting to 51? Is this just Arkansas all by themselves? Because FIU sucks. So I was like, man, I like the under. It's supposed to rain. Now, I went and checked the weather. It's raining days before. You know when it says it's going to rain like this, all you got to do is click on it, guys. I'm going to show you guys. You don't go to hourly. Go to daily. Once you click on that little link, and then you go down to Saturday, and you look, there's no rain. 0% chance of rain. Whoops, we're on Monday. Saturday, 0% chance of rain, no wind. It's going to be a sunny day. So whenever you see that rain down there, I don't know what the hell they're talking about. That doesn't look right. There's no rain. It's going to be in Arkansas, and I just feel like the under's in play because how is FIU scoring? Is Arkansas going to score 50 points? Very possible. Very possible. Go back to looking at that matchup they did with FCS opponents. Look at that, 56-13. Is this what we're talking about? That's what we're expecting? I'm looking at this. This is what I'm expecting. 28-6. That's what I'm expecting. Something like this. I think the under's in play. Just saying. The under's in play. Arkansas obviously should win the game handedly, but how are you getting to 50-something? It's weird. Weird. And that's all the matchups. Now the ACC. Boston College at Pitt. It's a weekday game, so it'll be only MVPs. I'll talk about it for the MVPs. Got to do more research on it. Louisville at Miami. Louisville's got a great passing attack. I love everything they do. And Miami has the best secondary in America. Shout out to Cam Kitchens, the number one safety in America. I would draft that dude in the first round. Cam Kitchens is a stud. He's stupid fast. Got interceptions all over the place. Cam Kitchens, number one safety in America, number one draft prospect for me in the secondary. I don't care what pre-draft, I don't care what do they call them, mock draft say. I don't care what anybody says. But I like the way Miami matches up with Louisville. And I think Miami might end Louisville's run. Now, Louisville's defense is so dominant, so mean, that they got a shot in winning this game. But I actually like Miami in this matchup to surprise a lot of people. I don't know what the spread is. Let me double check. This is not an MVP level lock. This is just me telling you Miami matches up really well. Look at that. Percentages Miami. It's 1 point. It's 1 point. You are a top 11 team in the country, and you're a 1 point favorite over Miami. It's because of the matchups, y'all. It's because of the secondary. Miami's secondary, to be specific. I like Miami in this matchup. Maybe it's worth a money line bet, a value bet. I might have to add it to the chart and you know those aren't locked. Those are just money line Miami. For being an underdog, I think they have a chance to win. Now, they could lose. Virginia at Duke. Took it off the chart. I think Duke can beat Virginia. But Virginia, man, they're better than we think. I think it's only a 3-point spread. It's 4. 47.5. I like Virginia to score points, man. Virginia always scores points. Look what Virginia just did. You guys want to knock them. 31-24. Virginia scores points. Okay? It's what they do. Man. It's a coin flip. Get that shit off my screen. It's a coin flip. And shout out to Duke for finding offense, right? Third-string quarterback, freshman, coming in, doing his thing. Dude's an awful-looking kid, by the way. I already talked about Notre Dame. Clemson, South Carolina, Clemson's favorite by 7 points. I think that sounds about right. Clemson's got the right athletes. Took this off my chart. Never. It was a lean to begin with. Never really believed in it, but I think it's something you guys should think about if you're looking for Clemson to actually win the game because they have athletes. They're a better team. They just have a bad record because of the start of their season. But their players are good. Their players are better than a lot of the teams they're playing against, just so you know. NC State, Virginia Tech. I like NC State in an upset. Virginia Tech's favorite. I like NC State in an upset for sure. Their defense is stout. Armstrong's the X factor in here, running the ball. I don't know if Virginia Tech can stop that run. I know Virginia Tech's 2.5-point favorites. I know NC State can stop the run. And all Virginia Tech can do is run, and throw to Jalen Lane. But I feel like NC State's defense is so stout, so mean. Give me NC State to win this game. They've been playing really well. If you guys see, beating Clemson, Miami, it's just everything they do, they're holding teams under 10 points. It's mean, dude. This defense is mean. And, yeah, they're expecting something like this. They're expecting Virginia Tech to get out there and really get running. We'll see. I like NC State in the matchup. Wouldn't bet on it. It's just my opinion. If you need to put some juice on it, put it. It's on you, bro. Florida State obviously beating North Alabama. I don't know the spread. Let's see what it is. It's not even up. They'll let you know Saturday morning. They won't give you a spread. You can just add Florida State to any money line parlay you're doing. I'm doing a 14-team money line parlay this weekend, and I feel good about all 14 teams. And then Georgia Tech, Syracuse, it's an MVP level lock. I can't talk about it. Sorry. It's just for the MVPs. It'll be on their video. Shout out to TikTok if you're watching. Go over to YouTube. I'm going to start answering questions from YouTube. First thing I'll say to you guys, though, thanks for being here. Thank you guys for getting your questions in early on the ACC stream. I'm actually going to do Discord comments first, if there's any, and then I'll move over to the YouTube. So Discord has priority. Let's see what's up. Tidy Whitey Rob is here. He says, damn, Rico and ego. No, just a lot of self-confidence and belief. Have to get a head start on this process. Try to keep recruits before signing day. Yep. Is Notre Dame going to fire Parker? Sorry, play calling ass. No, I don't think they are. Oh, and I'm sorry. Salt and SWAT, what he's saying is, guys, they got to fire coaches early so they can keep their recruiting classes intact so they don't decommit. So they don't switch schools. Yeah, a lot of these kids are committed to the position coaches, and when you fire the head coach, you're going to lose your commits because he loses his whole staff, essentially. The only guys you're going to keep are like legacy kids, kids who want to go to Stanford for the degree, stuff like that. You're not going to get those marquee players. They're not committed to your school, bro. They're committed to coaches. It's a relationship-driven thing. It's what it is. Which is most likely to be a good game this week since I don't have to slave my Saturday away to the SEC. La Tech, Jacksonville State, New Mexico State, Auburn, FIU, Arkansas. Out of those three, the best game you're going to see, oh, man, it'd be interesting to see how New Mexico State and Auburn do. But the best game you're going to see out of those three is La Tech and Jacksonville State. It being an MVP lock, you'd probably care about it more if you're an MVP and you're betting on it. So I would like La Tech at Jacksonville State. It's an interesting game to me. Just saw this from one of the boosters at A&M that he's prepared to group the group up to offer Kirby Smart $15 to $25 million a year. Lanning will be next option, assuming Kirby turns down the offer. Bro, $15 to $25 million a year, that's a big gap. That's $10 million. But, yeah, they can get anybody. I feel Kirby has the best job in the country. Tidy Whitey Rob, the best job in the country is the highest paying job in the country. Never forget that. You're doing your job anywhere, you're getting paid the most, and it's all guaranteed. Yeah, you're going to go. Ignore this if you want since it's SEC, but can Cignetti get the same success at an SEC program? That's my doubt with him coming to state. Down with Chadwell Love, down with Lashley Love. Yeah, Cignetti can do it anywhere. It's about recruiting and development and culture and program. Hey, Rico, just checking in to say hi. You know where to find me tonight. Shout out to Flip Hockey. Giving Flip a shout out. He changed his name because he don't want to use his real name anymore. If you guys don't know, Flip is a whale on the Discord server. Flip is just straight gambling his life away, and he's helping people build their bankrolls. If you want to build your bankroll, join the Discord, become an MVP, and then go hang out with Flip. He gives you all the plays on, well, Korean baseball season just ended last night, but he gives you all the plays on shit nobody's ever bet in their life. Flip can tell you about it. Shout out to him. Tidy Whitey Robbie says, I had a coach tell me I was worthless. I laughed and went about my day. That was 10 years ago. Should I file a lawsuit? Yeah, a lot of it has to do with being self-resilient and not, you can call me a bum. People call me bum every day. Bum-ass loser. People write to me on TikTok all the time, tell me, get a job, all this stuff. It never offends me. You know why? Because I'm not a bum. You call me whatever you want. I'm not any of those things. It doesn't offend me. I'm not built that way, right? I'm not going to say weak, but you don't have the ability to impact me in that regard. So you're not strong enough to do it. Well, did you grow a pair like you yelled? Is there any articles about this? I just saw one on the boom. Oh, I don't know. All right, moving over to YouTube. Shout out to everybody on the server. If you want to write more on the Discord server, I'll go back to you guys after I finish all the YouTube comments, and we'll finish up the show like that. So let's go to YouTube first. Dom on YouTube. Dom, I'm going to let you guys know now. Dom always asks questions that are very specific to certain games, and it's usually an MVP level question, but let's go. Thoughts on Jacksonville State against La Tech? I think La Tech might be a top 25 bottom college football team. Yeah, one of the worst in the country. Yeah, MVP level lock. Thanks for asking, Dom. Can't answer it in public. Is Liberty the best group of 5 team? Oh, they're definitely in the conversation. Liberty is in that conversation. Liberty, JMU, SMU. But remember, SMU is going to the ACC. And, I really like those 3. Tulane is there, but the most underwhelming undefeated or 9-1 team I've ever seen. On top of that, do you think they should roll over the Minutemen this weekend? MVP level conversation, can't have it. What up, Derek? Sultan Swat says, yo, welcome to the show. Make sure you hit that like button. And it's an ACC show, Conference USA and Independent Schools. Brandon Hanna says, if Rico really knows, please tell me Kendon Briles is getting fired. I don't take guesses at things. I would need insider information, maybe a source, and maybe believe that. I don't believe that for a second. I don't think Kendall Briles is getting fired. Shout out to Kendall Briles. Punks. What up, Rico? Do you think if FSU makes the playoffs, they will have a real shot to win it all? T, if you're in the playoffs, you got a shot, man. If you're in the playoffs, you have a shot to win it all. That's all it takes. Be in the playoffs. Be in the games. If you're not in the games, you don't have a shot. They got a shot if they're in it. That's real. Can Wisconsin come back and contend next year? That's a Big 12 or Big 10 question. That's for tomorrow, Sam. We don't ask Big 10 questions. Today is ACC, Conference USA, and Independence. Cavassier Smoke says Coach Prime won't win another game for not running him on Twitter. If it says it, I need to see it. I need to see it if it says it. I'll go look for it. And then I'll talk to some Colorado players because they're all in my DMs. Apparently, they didn't want Jimbo to beat LSU to be able to save his job. Very valid, Evan Kramer. If you guys don't know, Jimbo Fisher did beat LSU last year in the final game. So it bought him about 5 more weeks and an off season, but it didn't save his job. But yeah, I hear you. What's good, Rico? What up, Bobby Albright? Cameron Wilson says, thoughts on the next head coach at Mississippi State? Who should they go after? I already talked about it, Cameron. Rewind the show. How do you feel the new ACC teams will be able to compete in the conference next year? Bobby Albright, we'll have to see the whole offseason. The new ACC teams being Stanford, Cal, and SMU, we have to see what they do in the offseason. Transfer portal matters. Recruiting classes matter. Coaches being hired and fired matters. A lot of different things take place. We'll have to see. What do you think is the best move for A&M would be? It doesn't matter, Miles. Go get that dude, Urban Meyer. We need Chadwell in the Power 5, and we need to bring Salter with him. Caden Salter, quarterback at Liberty, a great dual-threat quarterback, getting it done. Sweetie, can you hit a light? I hate being in the dark. Thank you so much. Do you think Lance Leopold will be in for a move-up in the coaching carousel this offseason? Yeah, Bobby Albright. Anybody getting a raise? Anybody willing to take a raise? You're in the circle, right? You're about to be taken advantage of. I take no comments or questions from TikTok. You got to go to YouTube or the Discord server. Thank you. Is Clemson beating UNC? Dom, I believe so. I believe Clemson's a better team. They got a better defense. I believe they can beat them. Hey, what's good? What it cuz? Hey, shout out to Troy Gordon. If you guys don't know Troy Gordon, this is a guy that just watches the games and joins the live parties on Saturday. Unfortunately for Troy, I don't do live parties anymore on YouTube. I only do them on the Discord server with the MVPs. You got to be an MVP to hang out with me during the games. What was he on? Oh, I don't know what he was on. You're talking about Stenson Bennett? I thought it was just alcohol abuse and some others. We don't know per se. We don't know. Evan Kramer says, Carlton Marshall was robbed of the Bulls' word twice. If you guys don't know, Carlton Marshall is a linebacker, under 6 feet tall. He played at Troy, and he has over 500 career tackles, the all-time leading tackler in either Troy history or NCAA history. Carlton Marshall, a former walk-on, and he did not get the Bullsworth Trophy 2 years in a row. It's a damn shame, and he should have probably gotten it at least once. Stenson Bennett in rehab, damn, how have I never heard about that? Well, he's on the NFL players' non-injury list. That's how you've never heard about it, Troy Gordon. It is a very taboo thing to talk about, very private. No one's saying it blatantly, but I'm letting you know he has no other injuries. Hey, it's best he take a year to get right, and those substance abuse is a real disease. Glad he's trying to help himself out. Yeah, he got the whole year. That must have been in the background info that made teams consider him undraftable. I only knew about the public intoxication. Yeah, I still think he's undraftable. Do you like the direction Virginia is moving in for the future? And do you think Colin Drea is the answer for the next 2 to 3 years? So, man, Colin Drea might be the answer for the next 4 years. If you guys don't know, that's the true freshman quarterback for Virginia right now, and he looks so good. He just looks like a gunslinger. He's feisty. He can run with the ball. It's like Ryan Tannehill, Jackson Dart. Trying to think of other guys that are just kind of mobile, gunslingers, and just figure it out. And I like that kid. I think Virginia's headed in the right direction because they can't go any lower. I feel like Tony Elliott's got a decent offense churning over there. They just need to keep some of their better players out of the transfer portal and hit on some of their transfers. And they kind of missed on some. So it is what it is. Kineholtz does not play. You're missing a Z, number one, and he does not play in the ACC. He does not play in Conference USA. Virginia Tech, David Cox is letting you know they're better. Ohio State, Florida State, Texas, and Alabama. Congratulations, Joseph Villalon. You're hoping undefeated teams lose. Rico, I know you don't watch NFL much, but from what you've seen, how do you feel about the direction of Green Bay? I think Love is making strides, but I'm starting to be concerned with the staff and front office. Well, Bobby Albright, you hit it on the head. I don't watch the NFL. I have no idea how Green Bay looks this year. I watch. Let me be honest. I watch NFL games in the offseason to just double check that I know the players and the teams. I know all the players in the NFL because I knew them when they were in college. I know all the players in the NFL, and I still believe that there are far too many good players on the bench in the NFL. I can't handle it. I can't stand it. There are so many good players on the bench in the NFL, and the only reason they're not playing is because of their contract and because of their commitment or the team's commitment to certain players based on salary. That is a bigger indicator of who's going to start than the talent level. You don't believe me? Ask Minshaw when he got benched for Richardson, and Richardson couldn't play at all. And they didn't care. They were like, we're going to start this dude because we have more money in him. This has happened 100 times over. Ask Zeke Elliott why he was starting over Tony Pollard for 3 years. So Green Bay as a whole, like as a front office, I've done videos on how their front office works. Their front office works because, they're owned by the public and all this bullshit. I got rid of that whole myth. I think Green Bay has a problem. They don't have a franchise quarterback, and you're going to be okay, but never great. That's how that goes. Duke is going to cover 4 points. Come on. There you go, Mr. Jackson. Mr. Jackson. There you go. Come on. I want to see you next Monday, bro. Hope Louisville loses. Speaking as a UVA fan, that Thursday night game was BS as the refs saved Louisville. Myron Kidd, shout out to you, man. I know the refs saved a lot of teams. I don't know if they saved Louisville, but shout out to Virginia because they played really well. Is there any chance Riley Leonard goes first in the draft over Caleb Williams due to recent USC struggles? No, Riley Leonard has not looked good recently. I think Riley Leonard is more likely to fall to like third round if he declares. Sick of guys like Christian Watson and A.J. Dillon who based of their physicals should be great players, but when it comes down to it, they suck. Still more time for Watson, but I guess not for Dillon, though. Yeah, evaluating talent incorrectly could be problematic. I'm a UVA fan, and I know they won't cover 4 points. There you go, Mr. Jackson. You're letting your fandom talk. I saw something that is Louisville loses and North Carolina wins. It puts Virginia Tech in the ACC championship game. How is that the case when Louisville was head-to-head over Virginia Tech? I haven't checked all the scenarios, Evan Kramer. I can't answer that right now, and I don't want to try to assess it. But it makes for an interesting conversation and maybe a video I should look into for TikTok. But I don't have an answer right now. I apologize. I'll have to look into it. Yeah, if Virginia Tech were to win out, of course. What's Flip's at? 65 Memphis. Flip is on the Discord server, bro. I don't know his at. He's on the Discord server. You got to be an MVP. Come hang out. Come meet him. It's that simple. Wesley Sellers says, I know it's a long shot, but what Louisville need to get into the playoffs? Oh, boy. What do they need to do to get into the playoffs? Number one, they need to go undefeated. They need to win out. They need to win out, and then they need Washington to lose. No, I just don't even see it. I don't even think it's possible. Because they need Georgia to stay undefeated, Michigan to stay undefeated, and then they need chaos. Absolute chaos. But they're still going to be in the conversation with Texas. The loser of Michigan, Ohio State, so Ohio State. All one-loss teams. They're going to have beaten Florida State. So Texas and Ohio State. That's your best bet, is to be – well, you need Texas to lose again. You need Texas to lose in the Big 12 championship. So for Louisville to get in there, Texas needs to lose twice, and then they're just going to be between them and Ohio State. That's how that works. And if you ask me, people are going to put Louisville in over. Ohio State over them. And that's why the committee's got it the way it is right now. What am I sipping on? AJ, I'm always sipping either Dr. Pepper or flavored water. Where do you think Ryan Grubb would be a good fit as a head coach? I got no answer for you. I don't know what jobs are opening up. I don't know what Ryan Grubb knows as far as recruiting and his footprint. I don't know. I can't get into college football because of the refs. What the hell? It's almost unwatchable at some points. AJ, NFL is completely unwatchable because of the refs. Completely unwatchable. I can't take another roughing the passer call when somebody sneezes on your quarterback. I cannot handle the NFL in any way, shape, or form. I refuse to watch it. It's not football. It's glorified 7-on-7. Refs suck in both levels. 3 levels. 4 levels. Rico, are you looking forward to the playoffs? No, not necessarily, Paguno. I don't like the playoffs. I don't get too excited about them. I like the bowl games. I like all the small schools that I know and care about, all the group of 5 teams playing. I like all that stuff, man. I like other teams. I'm not interested in the top 4 teams in the country. They're boring to me. Everybody talks about them every week. It's the only thing they talk about on TV. It's just not fun. It's really boring. If you watched Michigan, Penn State, and you were excited about 36 straight run plays in a boring-ass game, like I went and took a nap, guys. I went and took a nap in the middle of Michigan, Penn State. I walked away from the live stream and went and took a nap for 2 hours. True story. Go check the live stream. The MVPs know. I walked away and said, hey, I'm going to leave this up so you guys can talk to each other, but I'm out of here. I don't give a shit about those teams. I find them boring. Absolutely boring. All of them. All of them. Rico, are you looking forward? Nope. Even Savion Wilkerson was liking the post about the running back room at Colorado. Seems like Coach Prime lost his locker room. Okay. Well, he lost guys he didn't necessarily remember. Savion Wilkerson wasn't the first guy to come out of Jackson State over to the school. He was one of the last guys they signed. He wasn't a part of the initial crew that's on the inner circle with Coach Prime. He was an afterthought and a consolation when they had a leftover scholarship. And then you can be disgruntled if you're not seeing the field and getting playing time over a freshman, for sure. If FSU and UW both end up unbeaten, what order would you put them in for the playoffs? Well, that would mean Washington beat Oregon twice. Are you kidding me right now? There's no comparison. Washington is far better than Florida State in when you look at those resumes. Yeah, for sure, but in college, it's insane, and there is zero accountability. There's no accountability in the NFL. What the hell? They should have college fantasy leagues to grow the audiences. I don't think they need to grow the audience, bro. There's 133 teams. There are fan bases with all the audiences. There's no problem. I don't understand NFL fans. I don't understand AJ here thinking college football needs to grow its audience. That's just weird. I don't know what you're talking about. You ever met an alumni from a school? I deal with these guys every day. They have college fantasy football. Thank you. Louisville would get considered if Texas loses. Washington loses twice. Oregon loses again. Yeah, how's Oregon supposed to lose? Georgia wins out, and Ohio State, Michigan lose this week. Yeah, okay. Absurd. Where do they offer fantasy for college football? All over the place. Who is your NFL Rookie of the Year so far? Stephen Moss? I don't watch the NFL. Who's my Rookie of the Year? Tank Dell. I don't watch the NFL. I couldn't tell you the fuck the Rookie of the Year is. Babe, when's the last time I watched an NFL game? I never watch NFL. I turn off the TV and we leave the house on Sundays. Louisville in the playoffs is asking a lot. It's almost impossible. Look up fan tracks for fantasy. There you go. Any coaches get fired, Conference USA or ACC this year? Dino Babers is getting fired, y'all. Syracuse firing Dino Babers. Hands down. That has to happen. Conference USA. You want to move on from McIntyre? You can. At FIU. You're not firing Tyson Helton. No. La Tech, Sonny Cumbie. I would let Sonny Cumbie go. I think he's just bad. I don't think he's doing well. Maybe Dana Dimmel at UTEP. Maybe. Yeah, they're fireable. 3 guys. FIU, La Tech, and UTEP. Fireable. It's fireable. Things seem to be taking a huge turn for the worse at Colorado. I think a lot of the recruits could be turned off to him. They already saw Watkins decommit because he thinks Prime is going to be gone fast. Yeah, the kids decommit all the time. I already told you guys, don't ever get excited about a commitment or a decommitment. Kids just change their minds all the time. And people don't even know. I tell people this every single chance I get. The NCAA rule has changed. Even if you sign your letter of intent, you can still leave within the first 6 months. So if you sign your letter of intent and enroll in January, you can still change your mind in spring ball, after spring ball. Enter the portal, no penalty whatsoever, and you can leave. 3 kids did it this year. The rule goes into effect next year. It won't even impact their first transfer rule. It's for the kids to pick up and leave whenever they want. Stop getting excited about recruiting classes. Your recruiting class should not impact your starting lineup at any school. If you're recruiting properly, you're developing your players properly, retaining your talent, your recruiting class, I don't give a shit if it's a 5-star, should not be a starter for you. Period. That's how it's done. Get better. Do better. Rico, I told you NMSU was going to beat Western Kentucky. Shout out to you, Dom. Thank you very much. La Tech is so bad. They are pretty bad. I don't think Oregon will lose to Washington again. That's a pretty common take to have. Last NFL game Rico watched was a preseason game. It was probably a Saints game because Kim was watching it and I watched it with her. Probably was a Saints game, but it's nothing where I go like, I need to watch this game right now. There's no such thing. I might watch tonight because I want Josh Allen to fall flat on his face. Did my girl get me pizza for dinner? Yo, my girl brought pizza home. I just saw it in the kitchen, y'all. I'm so excited, I can't even hide it. I didn't know she got pizza. Oh, shit. Hey, you guys, oh, snap. Oh, I better act right. I just looked over to the kitchen and saw pizza boxes. Yo, I'm on another level of greatness right now. Holy shit. Hey, whoo. Voice cracking and everything. Hey, if you guys didn't know, I'm excited because there are 2 Little Caesars boxes in the kitchen. And I love Little Caesars, y'all. I ain't fancy. I'm Rico. I grew up on pizza. You guys ain't messing with me. Little Caesars where it's at. We get that. You got that 3-meat cheese or just pepperoni extra most bestest? The meats. She got the meats. Oh, shit. This show's over, bro. This show's over. Hey, Rico, I'm an MVP. Can you do picks off all 8 weekday games? 65 Memphis. I do all weekday game picks. They all count towards my record. I pick games every single day for weekday games. Last week we went 8-1, and the week before we went 9-0. So we're 22-3 in the last 3 weeks on weekday games. So we'll try our best this week. Liberty should be in a New York Six Bowl. Yeah, if they go undefeated, I think they're a really good team. I like Liberty a lot. Mac Brown to A&M alum, wishful thinking. You want Mac Brown? You want Mac Brown's old ass? Mac Brown should retire, man. I don't know. I'm not a big Mac Brown guy. Y'all can do better than Mac Brown, a whole lot better. Yep, especially after Washington giving up 28 to sluggish Utah offense. Oh, yeah, Watts, that doesn't matter, bro. It's about matchups. It's about matchups. Don't ever get it twisted. Shout out to you guys. Hey, I'm going to move over to the Discord and then end the show. Let me get over here. What was the last comment? Now, I've got a couple sources with A&M who share information, nothing official. The landing part, I've seen some credible info circling on Twitter. Drip Dawn 19 says, Rico, what up? Stephanie RN721. If you guys don't know Steph's story, Steph is an RN. I think she lives in Delaware. She's been following the channel for a year. Steph is not a sports nut like we all are, but she was following the channel before I was Rico Knows. She knows sports. She's never gambled in her life. She became an MVP 3 weeks ago, and she started winning money immediately. Shout out to Steph. She says, I made it. I got one of those. What the hell? She says, I got one of those shirts. Y'all see this? I'm pulling this into the screen. Steph put it on. She bought a long sleeve shirt, says, want to see a dead body. There it is. Steph said she want to see a dead body. Shout out to her. She bought some merch. It came in the mail today. Congratulations, Steph. Thank you for being an MVP. Thank you for supporting the channel. We appreciate you. Hey, Rico, I'm an MVP. Can you do picks on all weekday games? It's 8 of them, I think. Yeah, I do the picks every single game day. Life is like a movie. I do them every single game day. You'll get videos on Patreon every morning. Tomorrow, whatever tomorrow's games are, the videos will be made in the morning, and I'll make my picks. That's how it's done. I don't do them all in advance. I do them one day at a time. Does Louisville have trouble beating Miami? I believe so, dripped on. I think Miami's secondary matches up really well with Louisville. There are videos made the day of the game. Shout out to Salt and the SWAT for letting them know. Shout out to Steph for supporting the channel and going out and getting herself a want to see a dead body shirt. I appreciate you guys. I mean, in one day, not day, my day, said politely. Yeah, I don't do them all in one day, 65 Memphis. I live one day at a time. I do not look forward like that. Just don't do it. It's not advantageous to me, and it doesn't allow me to really dig in. I spend 8 hours digging into 3 games. It's how I make sure I don't miss. So that's how I get down. Apologies if you wanted something else. It's not how it's going to happen. But thanks for asking. Tulane is so bad, like how they almost lost to Tulsa. Yeah, incredible. Incredibly bad. I don't get it. Tag you under a post on Twitter. Thank you so much, Paguno. I'll check Twitter and we'll find out. Hey, guys, thanks for being here. Shout out to TikTok, YouTube, and the Discord server. I'm going to call it a night. We got Monday Night Football tonight. I don't care about it. I'm going to relax. I've been working all day, and I'm going to make some videos on TikTok and talk about some things I want to talk about. I'll see you guys on the flip side. Remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you. I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean and no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
I do this for the kids who sit a bit outside the mix, who maybe cope through humor just to fit in for a bit, who never let the world know when depression's setting in. To all of those who know you, that impression don't exist. And it ain't counterfeit, it's just a way to counter it. I'm living things I dreamed about, I still encounter it. It ain't something that a cigarette or alcohol can fix, but all because of it, I flipped it quick, went on to write some hits. This a success, off another breath. This the first step in searching to be nothing less than be the best in what you do to prove their strength in being you. Learn so much in chasing dreams that I never would in school. Depends on where your passion lie, just no passion never lie. Life presents distractions, but your actions have to fortify the things that you believe in. Have to scream it like a battle cry and leave the ones who didn't looking stupid while they're asking why. Couldn't lie, I really do this for the ones I love. Those who treat the music as a vice and lyrics like a drug. Those who need advice on how to lift their spirit high enough to break out of the box they make up lives they know aren't good enough. Just because it's how it is don't mean it's how it has to be. This is what the uninspired testifiers fail to see. Jealousy results from being that which others fail to be. And if it means you're not with me, that honestly sounds fair to me.
I do this for my father, who I've only seen from time to time in my dreams. I do this for you. I do this for my mother, who's finally clean, no longer a fan. I do this for you. I do this for my sister, my wife and my kids, cause they part of the team. I do this for all the naysayers and haters who made me one of the greatest. I know it kills you inside, that's why I do this for you.
Do this for my mother, she'll be working for the summer. Do this for my father, cause these days I often wonder what my life would have been like if I was not adopted. To grow up in a home where I was treated like a problem. I don't know, it's just a guess. Your guess probably good as mine. Lucky that I grew up in a home that wanted me to shine. Lucky that I grew up around some mountains we were taught to climb. Without that inspiration, I don't think that this would be my life. Do this for my friends who've scattered all across the country now. I'm out in Sweden walking back through life so I can write it down. Make a living off the sound, so crazy to say out loud. I'm the biggest thing since Travis Rice to come up out the town. Sorry, gotta stunt a little. Used to have my dreams belittled, but it's all a part of it. I know people's minds are fickle, lines between reality and dreams I blur like faded nights. Come up been so good for me,